Okay, so now we've got everything connected up. It's time for a little play blast. So that's about done. Everything's working, which is good. There's no errors or anything like that. But what we can see by looking at it is like the R, we've basically got spheres here. They aren't bunching up like they are on the other letters. Same with the O, although I do like the way that O continuously spins around just by the fact that it is a circle. And let's just have a look. The T's pretty good. I'm quite happy with the T, and the S. It's close. The S is close, so we want to work on the R and the O and the S. Two ways of doing it really. We could add in more points from that scattering volume, or we could push up the kind of pressure that's within the current balloons if we like the sort of amount that are in there at the moment. So I think we'll go with the animation side of it. So it's the R and O and the S. So if we select, let me just get the outliner open. Where's the outliner gone? There we go. So if we select the graph, and then if we go into the graph editor, the animation one, we know we can select the R, the O and the S there. And we could just take it up by, what we're at, 200, we could take it up to like 2, let's try 230. Let's just have a look at all the others. 230, see if that makes a difference. Actually, no, I'll take it up to 240 where the B is, and just see if that helps us out a little bit. And I'll just move the range along a bit so that they're all in line, and we'll just do another quick play blast. Right, so I'm happy with the S and the T, and the R is what's going to need some work there. I think I'm just going to put in some more points. The O is doing its thing. It just keeps spinning around like that. So we could introduce some friction into the collider, which would stop that, and it would create the shapes. But I just like the fact that it's doing that. And I think in my example, it does that anyway. So let me just have a quick look at that actually. See if the O does do that. Yeah, kind of does. Although they are a bit pushed together a bit. Right, let's do O and R. O and R. So let's just find O and R, which we could do easily because we've named everything nicely. So in the O, I'm just going to take that up to, let's go 30, and then on the R, I'm going to do the same. I'm going to put that up to 30. Let's add in another 6. We'll see. What was B at? B is at 34. So let's just do the same with R, perhaps. Let's go 30. Let's go 33 with R, and we'll do one final play blast here. And there we go. Everything is working perfectly. That's really, really nice. Love that. Love that R. That is really good. Perfect. And the O and the S. Beautiful. We have art directed ourselves. Excellent job, everyone. Right, so now the kind of last thing with all of this that I want to do is just make sure there's a little bit of movement going on all the time. So I'm just going to add in some wind. So a fractal, let's just add in a fractal wind noise. Now, I'm not sure, but I think I actually put this node together. So we'll just have a little look inside it. I'll just double click and we'll dive down into it. I could be wrong, but I did put one like this together. So we've got fractal noise field, which has got some time added to it, which is multiplied by a number, which we've got sat out here. In fact, we could just, let's just do it another way so that you don't have to build this. If I just go in and create wind influence, because that does exist, we'll just put that into influences here, and in a little while I'm going to animate this wind influence. So we're going to put in another input here, and we're going to animate the wind, or we animate in the wind direction, because all those letters float up at the end. So that's wind direction in there, and wind influence, and then I'm just going to put in a fractal noise field, fractal noise field. Oh, so many different fractal things, it's hard to see. Fractal noise field, and we need to set underscore influence force, and we'll plug this field into the force, and then we'll plug that influence into the influence there. And so it's just going to give us a bit of movement. We might even be able to just plug this into the wind influence. Actually, let's just do that. So where it's windy, it's fractal noise windy, if that makes sense. Yeah, so by adding this fractal noise field into a set influence force, we can push that into the influence there. I might do this the other way around though. I might actually put the wind into this influence and then that set influence out into the influences. Just makes more sense to have the set influence force at the end of the chain there. So we've got wind and fractal noise working together, which is basically what that little node was that I had up just now, which was just by grabbing all of these and creating a compound. As you've seen before, we can make our own node and save that off for later on. But anyway, so we've got a fractal noise. I might have this set to like 5. That's just going to give us some movement. And then the wind influence, for now, I would just have that set to X. So if we select our Bifrost graph, we can see that now that's turned up wind X, Y, Z. And the wind influence is set to 1 in X for now. And so around, I can't remember where we keyframed it off, but around like 100-ish frames, about here, let's just do it here. We'll keyframe this wind influence and we'll just go forward 1 frame, change that to 0, set a key there, and on Y I'm going to set a key and I'm just going to go forward 1 frame, and I'm going to say let's go to 1 in Y. And the important thing to do around here is to switch off the collider around this frame 126. So at frame 126 we want to tick on use end frame, so that collider switches off, which is going to enable all those letters to break free and head off into the sky. So that's cool, that's working. And I guess the wind speed, we kind of want to make that a little bit harsher for those guys to kind of take off. So we'll put the wind speed into the input as well, and that was set at 5. So it's in the graph now, it's set at 5, and I'll just keyframe that so it's 5 all the way back there, and then by the time it all breaks free I might just set that to 10, key that, and we'll just have one final play blast, and then we'll just show you how we set up rendering. So we'll just see if this all worked, and then pop, there we go. And that's kind of all of the simulation animation side of things sorted.